Saturday, January 2nd, 2021, Maneco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So Billy is back. Yeah, he's not gone away. He's still here, and he's guarding his silver as closely as ever. Billy has a good feeling about silver for 2021 and going forward. Today, I want to look into a few things. Most importantly, how a cashless society would be moving further and further away from freedom, and how irredeemable fiat currency is actually a huge step away from freedom. I'm going to reference Howard Buffett, who was Warren Buffett's father, and he knew a thing or two about the monetary system. He made a few comments back in 1948 about gold and economic freedom. Of course, at the time, the United States had banned gold ownership. Americans couldn't buy or have monetary gold from 1933 to 1971. There were exceptions, of course, numismatic coins. People did find ways around it. But I saw an article today in the Daily Mail, and I think it's a bit concerning, not only for our freedoms and privacy as well. I want to look into privacy. It's not just about freedom, but privacy of the individual as well. So the story says limit on contactless payments could be raised from £45 to £100 in one of Britain's first steps away from EU rules. It says the upper limit on contactless payments could be increased from £45 to £100. Idea was raised to the Treasury by UK Finance, a city lobby group. Well, those are all the big banks in the city, of course. They do want that. It's another signal, of course, that the banks are in trouble. Why do I say that? Well, because if nobody uses cash, your money, or what you think is your money really, because technically and legally, when you put your hard-earned money or wealth in a bank, it's an unsecured loan to the bank, so it's not even yours technically. So that's what we need to understand as well. And it says new limit of £100 will need approval from the Financial Conduct Authority. I think it will go through. I think it's another step towards, as I said, less freedom. The fact that people cannot really withdraw their money from the bank is going to be, I think, a serious thing. Of course, there are ways of withdrawing your money from the system. You could buy physical gold and physical silver, of course, precious metals. You could buy other tangible assets. But the other thing that's concerning to me is not only the fraudulent possibilities that arise from this. You know, someone could get your card and just use it and spend a few £100 before your bank finds out that there's something wrong and block the account, but also the privacy. Because what we call today cash really is not technically right, but be as it may, it is cash, right? The coins and notes, they're called cash. When you use those, no one really knows that you're the one who used it. You've got privacy. In the old days, of course, those are just promissory notes, and real cash, of course, were gold and silver or specie. That's what real cash was, but I'll stick to the current definition. I think it's a really slippery slope that we're going down. Loss of freedom, loss of privacy. And some people might argue there's always the old argument, well, if you've got nothing to hide, it doesn't matter. But I think it's more than that. And I've looked here at this article about privacy. I'll just bring it up. Let's see, 10 reasons why privacy rights are important. This is from Human Rights Careers. Number one, it says privacy rights prevent the government from spying on people without cause. 2, privacy rights keep groups from using personal data for their own goals. Number 3, privacy rights help ensure those who steal or misuse data are held accountable. 4, privacy rights help maintain social boundaries. Number 5, privacy rights help build trust. And I think anything digital nowadays, we need to be careful. There's very little privacy, anything that's to do with digital. And that's why I think having something real and tangible in your hands is really important for privacy. Number 6, privacy rights ensure we have control over our data. Number 7, privacy rights protect freedom of speech and thought. Well, there you go. That's really important as well. Privacy rights let you engage freely in politics. That's number 8. Number 9, privacy rights protect reputations. 10, privacy rights protect your finances. So there's probably more things that we could talk about as it pertains to privacy. I'll put a link to this article below in the description of the video, and you can have a read at those 10 points in more details. But I just think it's not a good thing. And I think the banks, of course, they bring this out as if it was a good thing for the consumer. But if you really look at this institution that's called UK Finance, it says here, UK Finance is the leading industry body for financial services in the UK, representing more than 250 firms providing finance, banking, markets, and payments related services in or from the UK. So they don't represent you, the public. They're looking after their own interests. And I think that's the other thing that I don't like about always having to use a card. Some vendors now don't accept cash. They're using the excuse, of course, for the current crisis, that it's cleaner not to use cash. But you know, what about all the packaging from things that we buy, like food and other things? What about books? What about newspapers? It's not a good excuse. But what I don't like in particular about this, people always using cards, and I know this because I ran a business years ago. Some of you probably know, for a couple of years, I ran a franchise, or I bought a franchise for a pawnbroking business in the UK, and I had to have one of these card machines for people to be able to pay with cards. And I used to pay a lot to the banks just for having the machine. I couldn't buy the machine. You have to rent the machine. So basically you're paying the bank every month, even if people don't use the machine. And then every transaction that you do for a customer, the bank gets something. And I think that's wrong. I think the currency or the money should be able to be used without any cost, really. There shouldn't be any, it should be a free utility, money, really. You shouldn't have to charge to use money. If I take cash to a shop and pay with it, the bank's not gonna get anything. The government, I guess the issuing institution, gets what's called seigniorage, but I don't think the private bank should get that. And I think that's a problem as well about the cashless society, is not just the fact that they can keep track of everything you do. They can also, if they don't like what you're doing, you know, the privacy issue, they can cut you off, like we've seen PayPal and other vendors like cash, payment systems do to other people. So that's why I think it's such a dangerous thing. And yeah, what can we do about it? Well, try to keep using cash as much as possible. And yeah, the other point I wanted to make, of course, is about Howard Buffett. So Howard Buffett, unlike his son, was an admirer of gold in the monetary system. This is what he said here. The ability to redeem paper currency into gold money, Buffett argued, gave individuals the freedom to move around the world because gold had an accepted value anywhere. The citizen becomes dependent upon the goodwill of the politicians for his daily bread. That's if you don't have convertible currency, and that's what we have been moving towards. And cashless society, a cashless payment system, is even worse, I would say. So, yeah, I'll also put a link to Howard Buffett's famous essay he wrote, or it was a presentation, I think, or to the Commercial and Financial Chronicle in 1948. It's entitled "Human Freedom Rests on Gold Redeemable Money." And it's a really interesting essay or article if you want to read that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but yeah, it's about four and a half pages. So, but more importantly, the news about the cashless and the contactless increasing the amount from 45 to 100. Don't forget, earlier in 2020, around March time when the crisis started, they already increased it from 30 to 45. And I think when it started, contactless payments was just £10. So they keep ratcheting it up, getting people used to it. And yeah, it's not a good thing. But the underlying message that I get is that the banks are in trouble. They want to keep people's money in the system because it allows them to leverage even more, because they use fractional reserve. And that's why I keep telling people, and it's not advice, it's just my opinion. My opinion is that one should keep as little cash or money, if you want to call it, or loans, because it's actually an unsecured loan to the bank. They should keep as little as possible with these banks. The banks don't have your interest at heart. They have their own interests at heart and their shareholders at heart. They're not really looking after you. And yes, there's an 85,000 government guaranteed or FCSC insurance for deposits. But believe me, if there's a systemic crisis, the FCSC only has around 4, maybe 5% in assets that can cover all the deposits that they insure. It's not really guaranteed by the government per se. It's guaranteed by the FCSC. So yeah, I wouldn't keep that much cash in the bank. I would keep just enough to pay my bills, monthly bills. And the rest, it's up to you to decide what to do. And before I finish today, actually, I wanted to talk about a channel that I found out about just about a week ago or a few days ago. And they're a relatively new channel. I think they started out August 18th, 2020 on YouTube. It's called Truth Matters. They already have almost 42,000 subscribers. They're doing well, and good luck to them. But they have really good content. They started out a week ago publishing their videos, and they did a video with Catherine Austin Fitz a week ago. Full interview, Planet Lockdown. It's already got 1.4 million views, and they've got some really interesting people that they interviewed. There's a guy called Rainer Fulmick. He's a lawyer who helped consumers get compensation from companies like Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz. So he's doing something really interesting as well as it pertains to this crisis this year. There's another guy that I found really interesting, Daniel Model. He's from Switzerland. That's an hour interview. Really interesting guy, I would say. And they've also interviewed the former president of the Czech Republic, Václav Klaus. He's a very interesting guy as well. And they interviewed a prince from Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is an interesting country. I guess it could have been a canton from Switzerland. It's wedged in between Switzerland and Austria on the eastern side of Switzerland, of course. It's a very small country. It's a principality. And one of the princes there, Prince Michael, did a short interview with The Truth Matters. Very interesting channel. I think this channel is going to keep growing. I like what they're talking about and the people that they're bringing on. You might not, but it's a suggestion from me. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, of course, I'll be doing my usual live stream at 9 p.m. London time. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Parler, Library, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great rest of the weekend. Take care. Bye.